And so it begins with what you're telling yourself. How many of you all believe that we have 24-hour perpetual brain activity? We know that because we're not dead, right? But aside from not being dead, how do you know that you have that 24-hour perpetual activity? Because even in an unconscious state, when you're sleeping, what can you experience? A dream? Or worse, a nightmare. So even when you're in an unconscious state, that little REM sleep is creeping in. You can see people's eyes kind of darting back and forth. That means they're in a deep, deep dream state. That means that mind is taking you someplace you've probably never gone before in your dream state. But when you open up your eyes in the morning and you're conscious, what do we begin to do? We begin to talk to ourselves, don't we? You've been doing it all your life. When you woke up this morning, you were talking to yourself. You're talking to yourself right now, thinking about what you're going to eat when you get to lunch, what you're going to do when you go home. And you're going to be talking to yourself all the way up until the time you go to sleep at night. And so what I'm saying to you is if you're going to be talking to yourself every day for the rest of your natural life, you really better learn how to talk to yourself in a special way. You really better learn how to be your own encourager. You really better use words to affirm where you want to go in life, because there's power behind how you speak to yourself. And whenever you speak to yourself with conviction, your mind has no alternative, your subconscious mind has no alternative to produce the very thing that you believe with conviction. And whenever you speak to yourself with conviction, it doesn't matter how hard you try to succeed at it, you will always find a way to sabotage your success. Does that make sense? In other words, if I said to myself, man, I'm just terrible at math. I've always been terrible at math. I'm just bad when it comes to math. Well, guess what, folks? My subconscious has no alternative but to make me continue to be terrible at this subject called math. And no matter how hard I try to study for it or consult with others, I'm still going to find a way to always be bad at math, because I believe with conviction that I am bad, and what a man thinks, so he is. However, if I change my vocabulary and I say to myself, I'm really bad. Look, it's important to notice your weaknesses, right? And I say, I am terrible at math, but you know what, man, if I just kind of apply myself, I probably can get a little bit better at math. So what have I done? Subconsciously, I have allowed a door to slowly open for me to be able to get a little bit better at something that I am currently very terrible at. Because it all begins with your words of conviction and how you talk to yourself. The next thing you want to do when you learn how to talk to yourself in a more positive manner, because look here, folks, let's be honest. We live in a pretty negative world. Would you agree with that? We don't have to go anywhere to be influenced negatively. Some of you probably work around some negative people on the job, huh? You don't have to admit it. But negativity, it's a parasitic condition that permeates the entire work environment. And really, it only takes one person to have the power to do something like that. And I remember my wife when she started working at a corporate office, and she worked on like the 9th floor. And she said, DeWayne, every time I go to work and I get off the elevator, the receptionist, she's really not too receptive. I mean, she doesn't say anything. She's got a scowl on her face, and she's just unpleasant. And I said, well, look, sweetheart, this is what I want you to do. Whenever you get off the elevator and she's the first one that you see, I want you to put a big smile on your face and just say, hello, it's good to see you this morning. So my wife, at that time, who wasn't probably the most positive person in the world, took my advice anyway. So every day she would get off the elevator and she would see this receptionist and she would say, good morning, it's good to see you, and she would have a bright smile on her face. This went on for about 2 months or so. And then one morning she was in a rush. She gets off the elevator. She's in such of a rush. She runs past the receptionist, gets into her cubicle, gets her stuff out to get ready to start work. And before she knows it, she feels a Tap on her shoulder. So she turns around to see who it is. It's the receptionist. The receptionist says, "You forgot to tell me good morning, and it was good to see me this morning." All I'm saying is a positive attitude goes a lot further than you know. That influence that you have with your coworkers or people that work under you, just the right attitude can change a whole lot of things.